Alright, Muria Zimbabwe. Welcome to our 7 p.m. broadcast. I know I am late, not a little bit, but quite a bit late. So I had an emergency, and then now I had also technical issues trying to connect. I had to change some settings. So Muria Zimbabwe, today is going to be a quick live broadcast, quick update about what is happening all over Zimbabwe. So I have three stories that are very important. First, Mnangagwa, my generals Vazoita stand up to ED, and then tinenyaya ya Bekimpilo Mbedzi, and then nyaya court yaita throw out tenure extensions court case. So zvakamira zvakadaro mhuri yeZimbabwe. Let's first get into this story about my generals finally vachita stand up to ED. So mhuri yeZimbabwe, you see, muZimbabwe it might seem like unoita zvinhu pasina ma-consequences, pasina anokubvunza. I mean, ndopfungwa dzinge dzina naEmmerson Mnangagwa kuti they can continue doing what they're doing without any consequences. But unfortunately, right now as I am speaking, zvakutaridza kuti zvine ma-consequences. So chii chaitika mhuri yeZimbabwe mukati megovernment yeZimbabwe, because something important just happened. Right, this something important mhuri yeZimbabwe is chine zvekuita ne deep state. I know pane anditi nini ndakukuti wewe Mr. Deep State ndikati nini well, it's my pleasure because more things zichange zvichiuya kubva ku-deep state, and the deep state mhuri yeZimbabwe is just a name ratiri kupa kuvanhu vari kucontrola power muZimbabwe, vanhu vari kucontrola military, vanhu vari kucontrola zvombo etc. ndo vatiri kuti isusu deep state. So what is happening right now mhuri yeZimbabwe ndechekuti takuudzai isusu about a meeting yanga ichifanirwa kuitwa hold kuma around 9. So tiri kunzwa kuti that meeting ended up happening kuma around 5 nhasi, and in that meeting, according to the alleged information iri panews desk, iri kutiudza isusu kuti that meeting yanga ichiinvolva vanhu vanosanganisira JOC, Joint Operations Command. Vanhu veJoint Operations Command vanosanganisira vana general matatu, mamwe magenerals, vakuru vepolice, vakuru vechi, and then mamwe ma-retired generals who still controls state security apparatus, although they operate outside. They are still in the military, but it's like they're outside since they are retired. Now, mhuri yeZimbabwe, in this meeting, what is allegedly on the table, zviri patafura yenews, zviri kutiudza isusu kuti ma1 ndo atambika, vakomana vaudzana on a diplomatic level, but Mnangagwa waudzwa, and zvaaudzwa, because you have to understand, zvaaudzwa zvine chekuita nekuti iwewe Emmerson Mnangagwa, in fact vakomana vanga vachitaura about kuchuza next leader. Vakomana vangu vabvajura nepakati pedumbu vakatanga kutaura about choosing the next ZANU-PF leader. So inzwai, right now handiti mukuzizwa imimi kuti the reality ndechekudai. So the reality ndeyekuti Emmerson Mnangagwa is not a king. Emmerson Mnangagwa haana kudeclare kuti ndi king, and muna 2030 kuri kuzoitwa mavotes according to the constitution, according to the laws of the country right now. But although zvakamira zvakadaro mhuri yeZimbabwe, although zvakamira zvakadaro, what is happening ndechekuti vakomana they are talking about how about ZANU-PF itself and choosing the next chief secretary. webato. And because chief secretary webato nemasarudzirwa anoitwa president kana kuti noti president wegovernment yezimbabwe unogara pachigaro kwenguva yakareba sei hazvisangani. Handi muri kuibata. So vakomana vari kutaura about 2028 because next musangano ukufanira kuitika 2028 conference posarudzwa new leader weZANU-PF. Posarudzwa new leader weZANU-PF. Ende kusarudzwa kwanew leader weZANU-PF zvoreva kuti uyu ED unogona kusara ari leader wenyika asi asisiri leader webato. And that's why muri kuona boys riri kumhanya richiti hanzi let's align zvinoitika mubato with what is happening in the country. Kureva kuti ngatiwedzerei also matems eutungamiriri mubato to 7 years. So mune Zimbabwe generals right now they kupandukira kwavaita Mnangagwa ndiko kuti they are speaking about 2028 panyaya dzeZANU-PF. Animpabada. So anyway, in the equal exchange in the parliament. So let's get into nyaya yemukomana Bekimpilo-Mbedzi. Nyaya yemukomana Bekimpilo-Mbedzi. This is important. Nyaya Bekimpilo-Mbedzi is very important. So David Cotter is reminding Zimbabweans of what is happening. Hansi, as a lawyer with 43 years experience, as someone who has represented Stephen Komo, Edward Ndlovu, Sidin Malunga, Kembo Mohadi, Welshman Mabena, Speaker Jacob Mdenda, and many others, as a member of COPAC, I am outraged that a Zimbabwean who was simply exercising his constitutional right to peaceful protest against an illegal amendment to our constitution is still in detention, that he is being brought to court in leg irons like a murderer, makes me apoplectic. Every lawyer, every magistrate, every judge in Zimbabwe worth his or her salt should be enraged. This type of treatment should invoke the wrath of the Law Society of Zimbabwe and the JSC Zimbabwe, and indeed the president, who is a lawyer. This treatment constitutes a deep stain on the reputation of our entire judicial system and the nation. So, Baruku commenda about this video, kandwa na hopo jungono, Bekimpilo-Mbedzi. I mean, a lot of you might have seen this, but we have to remember kuti mkomana achiri mukati up to this extent. It's too bad. Mkomana ari kutreatwa as if he tasamone chain makumbo boys nokuti kwanza wabudisa chiplakard uchiti kwanzi handeto demonstrate. Zviko izvi pasinemi boys netikaunu kenyu kasina basi. So mune Zimbabwe tikuda kuti tisvike to the last story yatinayo nhasi takuti that we're not going to do too much. Iri paHerald, vakomana veHerald vari kutaura zvisina basa. So actualize paHerald. Iri paHerald. Naizvizvi ingori another tape, right? Mune Zimbabwe hanzi court throws out tenure extension challenge. Gaitipinde munyaya iyi inotitsamwisa, inotibhowa, but toda kuona kuti state iri kucelebrate chii. Vana Herald zvezvinyora zvinyaya zvekucelebrate. Hanzi Fidelis Munyoro, chief court reporter, The Constitutional Court has dismissed an application by two citizens seeking direct access to challenge the constitutionality of a ZANU-PF conference resolution which they claimed was aimed at extending President Mnangagwa's tenure beyond the constitutional limit. So, two citizens. In an unanimous judgment delivered by Deputy Chief Justice Paddington Garo, Mfana Garo, with Justice Ben Hlachwayo and Bharat Patel concurring, the court ruled that the applicants, Mr. More Precision Muzadzi and Mr. Pardon Gambakwe, Sondi Gambakwe, had failed to demonstrate that it was in the interests of justice for the Constitutional Court to hear the matter as a court of first instance. The applicants sought leave under Section 167, subsection 5 of the Constitution to institute substantive constitutional proceedings, arguing that a resolution adopted at the ZANU-PF National People's Conference in Mtare in October 2025 threatened the citizens' political rights by seeking to extend the president's term of office from 5 years to 7 years. They contended that the resolution infringed constitutional provisions guaranteeing regular elections and limiting the president's tenure. They also alleged that President Mnangagwa had acted inconsistently with his constitutional oath by failing to repudiate the resolution. However, the Constitutional Court held that the application was procedurally defective and failed to comply with the Constitutional Court rules governing applications for direct access. Anzi, the Constitutional Court held that the application was procedurally defective. And murkona nonsense. Zurati, varkutibo, the thing, mafailua akaitwa these court cases, the procedure was procedurally wrong. Vakakanganisa process, vakakanganisa procedure. Not kuti zvavari kutaura as make sense. Now, you see, this has been the same excuse iri kushandiswa even against vana Love Madhuku's court case kuti makanganisa mafailiro, makanganisa kwekufaila, makanganisa time, makanganisa chi, because as Love Madhuku said kuti chinhu ichi takatochiwina kudhara kana chikapinda mukoti no matter what towina. Now taakunzwa nyaya yana Virginia Mabiza anova attorney general wakutraya kumisa court case yema-retired general, yema-comrades and retired war veterans anditi vakuzama kuimisa. So anyway, let's continue. Justice Garwe said the applicants had not properly pleaded the legal and factual basis for bypassing the High Court, which enjoys concurrent jurisdiction in constitutional matters. The application is not properly constituted for adjudication. The court said, adding that merely citing constitutional provisions or alleging a constitutional grievance did not satisfy the threshold for direct access. The court further held that the dispute was not ripe for determination because no constitutional amendment bill proposing changes to presidential term limits had been introduced in parliament. Blah, 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 blah. But Zimbabwe, at the end of the day, chirikuitika right now, ndechekuti ma-courts arikungotirova nema-statements, arikungotirova netumachichichi. All they are doing is refusing to hear these court cases because they know kuti they will not win. They know ZANU-PF will not win. In fact, they know Mnangagwa will not win. Because ZANU-PF Pachayo is not everybody who is in support of this Cape 3. So, stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Peace.